Earlier this week, the YouTube channel Phillydronelife was shut down by the FAA, and the pilot, Michael DeCircio, was issued a lifetime ban from flying drones in the United States. The guy's just flying around Philly making some fun, entertaining drone videos, right? Well, no. On several occasions, Michael had shown himself operating his drone in a reckless and unsafe or negligent manner. A few notable instances include flying the drone into himself, and that just sounds as bad as you think of an idea as it is. Very painful. He also had situations where he's flying into controlled airspace near the Philly International Airport, above the legal limit of 400 feet, and even losing control over the drone while it was in flight. Of course, this led to the FAA issuing several warnings about the violations and even providing him with guidance on how he could be a safer pilot and still enjoy the skies. Well, did he stop? No. And despite the efforts of the FAA, they knew it was time to take action. The FAA issued Michael with a cumulative total fine of $182,000 for his numerous violations against the rules. And do you think he stopped there? Well, no, he didn't. Michael continued to operate his drone in a reckless manner and showed a blatant disregard for the laws and regulations at hand, which resulted in something that we've never seen before, such a huge fine. Earlier this week, the United States Attorney's Office released a consent judgment against the situation, which details a few important things. The main term being a lifetime ban from Michael that would prohibit him from flying a drone of any kind. He's also prohibited from trying to obtain certification in the future, and this would include the Trust or the Part 107, which he never even had in the first place. And finally, he was ordered to take down his channel from YouTube, which had almost 13,000 subscribers. This is an all-out, no, you're banned, you're never allowed to fly drones ever again for the rest of your life. We're all for having fun around here and showcasing your flights on YouTube, and it can be a great way to grow an audience and connect with other pilots and make a little bit of money on the side. But it's important to follow the rules and get your Part 107, especially if you're in the States. We do understand that mistakes happen, however, in no circumstance is it acceptable to endanger the safety of others, no matter the occasion. If you want to learn more about this situation, Russ from 51 Drones made a fantastic video just yesterday that dives into how this situation unfolded. So go check that out. So given the circumstances of this and the California incident, we're anticipating that eventually FAA is probably going to implement some new rules for flying drones. In that same vein, the Department of Commerce is now reaching out to the community to get more clarification about drone operations through an ANPRN, or an Advance Notice of Proposed Rulemaking. So they're doing this through a series of questions that can be answered and submitted through a public forum to gauge community feedback before a new rule is likely to come into place. So this isn't actual rules. This is an advance notice that they plan to make rules. So PilotInstitutes made a great video that goes into more detail regarding this topic, and we encourage you to head over there right now to check it out. It's a long video, but it's got a ton of important information about potentially some answers and how you should format your answers so they're actually heard and not just tossed to the side because they're carbon copy or copy paste answers. Peter Ickerman, the man who flew his drone during the Palisades wildfire that damaged that CL-415 water bomber, is now blaming DJI's geofencing for his flight. Like, really? Come on. If my Ferrari can do 200 miles an hour, does that mean it's okay to speed through a school zone? He also flew a drone 1.5 miles away from where he launched it, which is clearly violating the visual line of sight rules that exist in both Canada and the FAA. Come on. Late last week, new details emerged regarding the situation, and a statement from Ickerman's defense attorney stated that he was deeply sorry for the incident and takes full responsibility. Reading further into the story, we now know that Ickerman relied on DJI's geofencing feature, which is a feature that has since been removed in the United States. We have a video about that. Just like 2 weeks ago, we talked about this, and it's a means of guidance for where you can and can't fly. We've said it before and we've said it again right now. Relying solely on DJI's geofencing is not a good idea. It has no bearing on real drone laws. And while it can be useful as a tool to give you a warning, it doesn't give you the full picture as to what's going on in the airspace around you. Drone pilots need to be aware of what airspace they're operating in and any TFRs or NOTAMs or temporary flight restrictions that are in place and act accordingly. They also need to abide by either FAA or Canadian or your country's drone laws and fly your drone within line of sight unless special waivers or permission is obtained. In this case, Ickerman launched the DJI Mini 3 from the top of a parking garage in Santa Monica and just flew it just out of curiosity. He wanted to see how much damage the wildfires had actually caused. So pure curiosity is why he took off and flew this drone into an airplane. Like we talked about last week, Ickerman was fined just over $65,000 US, which is probably just a minor inconvenience for him, given that he's one of the co-founders of Treyarch Studios. Yes, that video game studio that creates Call of Duty Black Ops. Deep pockets aren't going to get him out of the 150 hours of community service that he's going to have to serve as punishment for his crime. This is a pretty complex situation, and if you want to learn more about it, check out our full video on the card above up here right now. We talked about this not just last week even. As quick as the Air 3S arrived, we've already got a leaked photo of what the infamous Jasper Ellens is claiming as an Air 4 prototype. Photo surfaced late last week and shows a drone with what looks to be the Mavic 4 body just slimmed down a little bit, just a little toit. Do you know that movie, Toit? Toit like a tiger?
No.
It also looks to have the same sensors on the top of the drone that match up with the previous leaks, and we've seen the other leaked images of the Mavic 4 Pro. DJI does seem to update their Air series rather frequently, so it wouldn't surprise any of us if there was a debut later this year. Like every year, there's a new Air, it seems. After all, the Air 3 was released in July 23, and then we saw the Air 3S in September of 2024. Unless there's something that's really compelling, it's going to be kind of like going from an iPhone 15 to an iPhone 16. So if you're looking to get the most out of your drone that you actually have right now, check out our photo and video course where we dive into everything you need to know when it comes to getting the most out of the camera sensor that is on your drone. As we get further into the year, though, we'll keep you on up to date if there is actually any more details or if this was just a super early prototype leak. In the same vein, Quadro News has hinted at an imminent release for the Air 3S tracking puck that we saw last year but never actually made it to the market. Earlier this week, Quadro News put out a tweet stating that the launch is imminent with photos of the tracking module. When paired with the Air 3S, the puck will allow for more precise tracking, especially when the drone is flying through an area where there's hard to see the subject. So if you go behind trees, the puck is going to help the drone find you again. It's pretty small in nature and it looks like it'll pair directly to your phone. While DJI's tracking software is pretty top-notch, it usually doesn't do well when the drone is obstructed by an obstacle. So having this could be a game changer. Like basically the drone has ADD, right? It's going to look at you, it's going to look at a bird, it's going to look at you, it's going to look at a bird. As for a release date, we place our bets it'll probably be between now and sometime in the future, aka April, to help bridge the gap between releases. After all, we really wouldn't want this little guy to be stealing hype from the Mavic 4 Pro coming out soon. Drone Deploy has just secured a groundbreaking nationwide beyond visual line of sight waiver from the FAA, but there's a catch. This approval only applies to flights operated directly by Drone Deploy, not by the everyday users of their software platform. That means that Drone Deploy can now conduct fully autonomous drone missions without requiring on-site pilots to maintain visual line of sight or extended visual observers. This is a huge leap forward for industries like construction and infrastructure, where automated drone operations can now cover massive sites with improved efficiency and safety. Traditionally, beyond visual line of sight operations required human observers, limiting the scalability of the operation. But with this waiver, Drone Deploy's own fleet can legally fly beyond visual range, leveraging advanced safety features like collision avoidance and pre-flight diagnostics. With AI-driven infrastructure projects booming, this approval comes at the perfect time. However, it's important to note this isn't a green light for all Drone Deploy users, only flights that are being operated by Drone Deploy, the company. This could set a precedent, though, for broader beyond visual line of sight approvals in the future, but for now, it's a major step forward for Drone Deploy's own automated drone services. Bit of confusion on B&H's website today as the Anzu Raptor was listed as discontinued, but false alarm everyone, it's okay. Apparently it was a SKU change and they were just changing the way that it was packaged and sold, and the original SKU or stock keeping unit was discontinued as a result. The drone is still for sale. The head for the Anzu Robotics did reach out in the drone pilots group and said everything's fine. We can all relax. I'm sorry, the green is too much. I can't. Cool concept. I'm glad it exists, but why green? Seems like just the other day we got word that the Osmo Action 5 Pro was just being released. And again, now here we are on to yet another leak of the Action 6, this time from Haka_sushi on X. Late last week, this image surfaced of an alleged box for the DJI Osmo Action 6, their flagship action camera, you know, the little square ones that go on your head or on your chest or on your helmet, that are geared towards content creators who love to capture the thrill of extreme sports. The reason we're talking about is because they also fit on drones, by the way. If you didn't know, FPV drones and action cameras are like pickles and jam. Like if we take a closer look, then we can see that what looks eerily similar to an Action 5 Pro, which was just released a few months back, is now obviously got a screen and a logo change. This is leading us and a few others on X to determine it's probably fake, especially since they just had a bunch of action cameras released like a few months ago. Someone's messing with us most likely, and they probably spent a little bit too much time in Photoshop and just threw this up on Twitter. So what do you think? Is it real or is it fake? Come on, let's chat about it down below. Are we ready for yet another action camera right now? The numbers, Cam. What do the numbers mean? Come on, tell me. The numbers, what do they mean?
They mean 90% of you guys aren't subscribed.
Well, if you want to get inside knowledge on how we make money using drones, stay up to date with the leaks, and come along for the ride as we talk about the latest topics in the industry, you know what to do. You need to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, and please, if you enjoy this content, hit that like button too. 10 o'clock Pacific on Sunday, we're going to be relaunching our Canada versus the USA Battle Royale drone law fight. Anyway, thanks for watching this week, and we'll see you next or see you on Sunday. Cheers.